talk about as well. But oh well, I guess it kind of is what it is as far as this finale here for this UTEP team, right?
I get why they went for the PAT. I just don't agree with it. It would have gone the other way, but different strokes for different folks.
I like it. Okay, other mentions to go to. This is Steve on Wrestler. I'm really mad. This was atrocious. I won't blame the kicker at all because a couple players really suck. Losing to a D2 or FCS is never acceptable, and El Paso deserves better.
I know, enjoying the show. You guys are doing a great job. I listened to Tice too long and forgot that you guys moved over, but...
You forgot we exist, Bobby. You forgot we exist.
Of course not. I even wore my Win the West shirt underneath my jersey.
Let's go. Good stuff.
It's over.
Over. 10-second runoff. Over.
Exactly. And you have two plays if you pass it, and then to run the ball there, that was the most goofy, idiotic play I've ever seen at UTEP. And I'm just dumbfounded. And if you've gone over it 100 times, I apologize for not catching you early. But the other thing is, I think the uniforms tonight, while they're trying to be cool, were absolutely horrible. Fatigue and orange, they look like the same team. And then, in more ways than one, they look like mirror images of each other. With UTEP being a D1 school and should have been bigger and stronger in controlling a great recruiting class that we had. Ask people about that, Adrian.
Oh, my pops has told me that a lot about those right there, so I'm very familiar with that era and how inefficient those offenses were. So yeah, man. No, we're not trying. We're in it for the long haul, my friend. Alberto's working the overnight tonight, so he's got the hammock ready to go. Chris is burning the midnight oil with us as well, and Wilton Luigi Buzz Flaviano Jr. But on the other hand, UTEP deserves to lose for wearing some of the absolute ugliest uniforms in football history. Your thoughts?
Oh man, I'll be honest. I think these. I think
you like these secretly.
No, I wouldn't say secretly. I'll give you like a 1 to 10. I'm probably like a 5, 4.5, 5. I guess. No, let's round it up. I can't do that. 5, 4.5 is 5 if you round it. So I'm not completely out, but I just didn't like the way that both teams kind of blended in with each other. There was a lot of white out there. Just to kind of nitpick on it, I understand what they were trying to do, so credit to the first responders.
Yeah, I agree.
And what they were doing it for, but, I mean, just...
Thank you for cleaning that up.
I would have liked when the basketball team does their gray Me-Nettles jerseys a bit. I can't be a fan of that, man. I don't know why. It's just gray and orange.
Oof, man. Wow, that's staggering. That's a staggering difference right there. They controlled it. I wonder what they noticed at halftime to make that adjustment, but credit to the Southern Utah coaching staff. The halftime adjustments they made won them the game. I mean, bottom line, it won them the game in this one. So, yeah, there you go. That's the bottom line. MinerTalk continues. We are still going. Presented by Jack in the Box. Guys, is Zay okay? I mean, he was looking.
He's in shambles.
He's in shambles for all the reasons. This is birthday week for Zay. He told me, "Hey, I'm darting over right after the press conference. We might not get Zay. It might be an absent Zay tonight. He might not be able to take it right here." How many losses can a 18-year-old or soon to be 18-year-old take?
I'm remembering the article that he had where it was there aren't many kids my age who care about UTEP athletics, and now he's not a kid no more, man. It's transitioned into adulthood. Welcome to UTEP fandom after your 17 years of living. I don't know how everyone to put it.
Only 50 days now, today, September 8th. Only 50 days until UTEP basketball. There you go, son.
Wow.
There you go.
Dang.
So UTEP basketball on the way. 915-505-6009. A couple more posts to get to here on the program. Clearwater, at Clearwater Win, checks into the program. Head coach finalist Brendan Marion and the UNLV offense hung 72 points on Southern Utah rival, Utah Tech, after putting a whooping on Houston. We could have had that guy. I don't want to hear a thing from Walden until he wins a game. If that's Tennessee Martin next September, so be it. Adrian at Enemy Win 3. Wow, I'm surprised how negative everyone is right now. We are talking about a new coach in a new league, and they lost by a field goal in overtime. Pump the brakes, guys. Adrian, it was an FCS team. You can't lose. That's the inexcusable one. This is coming in from Bumps at Bumps 8. At UTEP football, new coach, same old story. 41,000 in attendance. El Paso came to support, and Coach Walden and UTEP football did not deliver. This is coming in from the text Truth. I'm a UTEP diehard. FCS loss is not good. I feel for the players. Coaches need to make changes. Coaches need to do some soul searching as well. This is coming in from Enrique. Take my comment with a grain of salt. Are Austin P players having difficulty adapting to FBS play? Today had some bad officiating. This is coming in from Memo. I stomached it 10 years ago. I'll stomach it this year, and I'll continue to stomach it, I guess. That's where we're at, unfortunately. Kicker kicks it in the end, and then what? We beat an FCS school in overtime? How does that win taste? Just sad overall. Yeah, that's a good point, too. What are we talking about, guys? A win in this one, and then what? Everybody's thrilled about a last-second win against an FCS school? You're damned if you do, damned if you don't in this situation that UTEP was in.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. However, beating an FCS team is much better than losing to an FCS team. I think if you ask everybody, hey, would you rather have won this game or would you rather have lost? So obviously they're going to pick the win, and it just makes it that much more painful. Yeah, you're not going to get everybody on board no matter what you do. Hey, you only won by 3 points. Oh, it shouldn't have been that close. Why'd you barely win by 10 after scoring the late touchdown? Whatever. We've heard it all, and we've seen it as well. We get that. But that doesn't matter. You still got to go out there and beat an FCS team.
That's right. That's the bottom line. And we'll hold them to that standard right there. I don't care what kind of team is trotted out there. Also,
too, if you're an FBS team who's near the bottom, is it wrong to ask for a win over an FCS team?
No, not at all. I mean? Yeah, I agree with you completely, Sal. More coming in. Esteban, which team could the Miners possibly beat down the road? Okay. I'm going to say FIU at home. That's October 16th. That's a Wednesday game. That's a home game. I'm going to say Kennesaw State, and I'm going to also say Middle Tennessee. So those are the three, I should say, that I think UTEP can realistically win, and all three of those are home games. Guys, I don't know if I can see this team, at least as it stands right now, winning one of the road games against either Liberty, Colorado State, Western Kentucky, La Tech, Tennessee, or New Mexico State. Sorry to say. That's just the reality.
Yeah, Western is always a tough place. They do a great job over there in Bowling Green, and that's a team that year in and year out has a contender or is kind of knocking on the door to be a contender. At the Joe, it's very tough. They've played Louisiana Tech close, but the odds are in Louisiana Tech's favor over in Ruston, and obviously looking at Tennessee, I think we could kind of scratch that one out, but New Mexico State went wire to wire in a Conference USA Championship rematch tonight against the Liberty team, who obviously came back and won. So, yeah, it's tough, man. And looking at the home games, oh man, yeah, pretty much just Sam Houston and Kennesaw State, but those are coin flips. I don't feel as confident about those games as I did when we were doing our preseason MinerTalk podcast.
Okay, Sal, I'm gonna throw a question that came your way, and it's from Chief Instigator El Paso Visuals Deportivos, aka Ivan Pierre Aguirre, who is out at the game tonight. Here we go. Some people saying that they're cashing out after the loss tonight. Well, to them, I say bleep them. Let them, quote, cash out. They aren't fans, true fans, if they are saying that after the first home game. Also, quote, you wouldn't argue with those that are checking out, Sal, question mark. How are Okay, this is funny. This is funny, Sal. Sorry. I'm just going to read this, but you got to answer this. How are you going to produce a UTEP fight song, Sal, and say you wouldn't argue with those fans that are checking out after the first game, Sal, SMH? And he said Sal 3 times, by the way.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple, let's say 3 things, right? So number 1, how am I not going to argue? It's El Paso visuals, deportivos. You have so much videographic and photographic evidence of them losing these games. So no, I'm not going to argue with them. What the hell are you talking about? And how am I going to produce a fight song? When I was 14? Has it changed since then? My man, it's not the same. It was a flash in the pan under Mike Price.
It's true.
The evidence is there.
I mean, honestly, honest. Hey, there we go. I like it.
Yeah, come on, bro.
I like it. No, and Sal, I think the thing is like we understand that the diehards are always going to be there. The diehards are calling in.
I'm one of them, bro.
Yeah, we're the ones who are staying here through everything. So we get it. The diehards are going to be. We're not talking to the diehards. It's the people and the fans who are on the fence. Maybe not even football fans. Maybe not even sports fans. And for people to just say, "Oh, you've got to blindly support and blindly root for these programs." The entertainment dollars, Sal, I could stay here and watch ESPN2 and root for a team virtually or on my couch in college football and just associate myself with them. Why do I need to go and support this team right here? Well, UTEP has the family ties. It has the history and tradition, but it doesn't have the success of the program. So if you're like a Fairweather fan, if you're a teetering fan, if you're a fan who doesn't really care about a lot of this stuff, and you go to a game like this and they lose, then you're gonna be out. I mean, that's just how it is. And we're not even talking to those fans right here on MinerTalk. They're not listening. They're already checked out.
I think people get reality mixed up with fandom. Because there's always that saying, like, I only want, my ride or dies with me, the real ones who are there since day one. Well, you got to get more of them on your side when it comes to sports. In your inner circle, I get that. But when it comes to the Sun Bowl, you got to get as many people as you can out there, even if it's their first game. How many people went to their first UTEP game tonight who are not going to want to go back?
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So we understand. We're not talking about the, 4,500, maybe 5,500 diehards who go out there every single game. We're talking about the people who are going to add more numbers in the positive side when it comes to that decibel meter for crowd noise, when it comes to passion and stuff. So that's what it's all about, man. Who cares about all of that other stuff? You had a chance tonight, and you didn't come through.
Hey, our telephone number, 915-505-6009. We're presented by Jack in the Box. We're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. We got more posts coming in on Twitter and X. We have more coming in on the program, but let's do this. Let's take let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to MinerTalk, brought to you by Jack in the Box here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Streaming worldwide, the 600 ESPN El Paso mobile app. 600 ESPN El Paso. Use KROD El Paso.
Back to the phones we go, 915-505-6009, as we continue 600 ESPN El Paso on Twitter and X, and 600ESPNElPaso.com. Richard from the east side. I think this is Gator Richard who's joining us right now. Go Gators! Are you actually serious? Is this Gator Richard right here? This might actually be him. Let's do it. 915-505-6009. Gator Richard, we're getting you at 1 in the morning on MinerTalk. What's wrong?
And it's your voice. I'm like, You guys must be like fillet of fish this loss here.
Oh my gosh.
So you remember John Boy take like 5 minutes, say goodnight to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so John Boy worked out, let's say, twice a day for 5 years, working out like a fiend, and then got a flat top. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Okay. Just keep it going. I have no clue who you're talking about, but keep it going.
So forevermore, he'll be known as John Boy with the flat top. You couldn't get it done against a double A school, huh?
No, I couldn't, Gator Richard.
So I don't know about this, Adrian, but let me ask you a question, man. You were married recently, right?
Okay, I don't like where we're going with this one. Let's not go this. No, because I know where you're going with this one, and I don't like it. Can you get to your point?
I mean, you're not still like on a honeymoon, right? I mean, you were married over a year ago, right?
Well, we've also been together for over 10 years, so yes.
Oh, okay. So what I'm saying is, I think the honeymoon is over for this guy with the second loss coming to, you know, a junior college here, a double A school. That's embarrassing, man. Come on. You know. I mean, usually the honeymoon's over, like, you know, one of you's in there, you know, doing a deuce in the bathroom, and the other one comes.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Gator Richard.
Or that's how you know it's real.
And it's over for you on this phone call. I appreciate it, Gator Richard. Thanks for weighing in. I don't believe that. I'm pulling in my car right now. He was listening. He maybe was even at the game. He was rooting for UTEP football. We know Gator Richard.
He got in the car to listen specifically.
Yes, he got in the car. He knew MinerTalk was on, and he wanted to tune in. As bad as he doesn't want to admit it, he's a closet UTEP fan, and as much as he wants to joke with UTEP, you know what, Gator Richard, he secretly roots in the background for this team. Hey, apologies to all our YouTube followers and people who are watching us on our live stream for some technical issues, but we're back on board. Thank you, Chris, for getting us back on board and back on track as we continue here on MinerTalk. 915-505-6009. This is coming in from Delusional UTEP Takes. Will Coach Walden have a slip and slide for Monday's practice? Hashtag MinerTalk. This is from Eggy Rosario FP. Me, as well as other diehard fans, are with you, Coach, still. Hashtag MinerTalk. UTEP Mineto. The guy talked trash about us, and then he came in and beat us. Really hard one to absorb. This is from Domino Fernandez. I went to sleep early tonight, but I can't stop listening to MinerTalk. I love it, man. I appreciate it, Domino. This is from Brian. I wasn't even surprised. This reminds me of 2018 UTEP, in which we only won one game. Joe Chacon. This, Adrian Broaddus and Sal Montes, and he tags us in the Tristan Pence post that said, how many times does UTEP football have to fail the city before enough is enough? Losing to FCS school in front of 41,000 in your home opener is unacceptable. Coach Walden and his staff should be embarrassed, quite frankly. They need to earn the Miner fans back. That's right. Gabriel Martinez, I appreciate that MinerTalk still goes on after all these years. First time in many, many years listening. If you're rattled about the start of the season, my advice is to buckle up. This is nothing some of us have to live through. Go Miners. I see a flicker of light. This is coming in from fake Scotty Walden. A burner already, guys. I'll throw Scotty a curve. I think we can beat Colorado State. Hashtag MinerTalk. This is from Gabe Martinez. I'm with the guy. The unis are a miss. Huge miss. Just bad. We have great colors and past designs that we can build off of, or we can even use again. What are we doing? Also, our lights are so bad in the stadium. It's too dark on TV and in person. They got to be from the 60s. Wow. Yeah, I mean, guys, a lot of brutal calls there, or a lot of brutal messages there, I should say, here on Twitter next. Let's keep it moving. Back to the phones, 915-505-6009. It's Alan who's joining us next. Alan, good evening. What's going on? Okay, keep going. Good stuff, Alan. What was your first...
orange. Don't you remember? Orange and white. What is with all the damn blue?
Alan, I don't know. I defer to Zay on this because Zay says that UTEP's in a bit of an identity crisis when it comes to their colors. I don't know if I'd take it that far, but I'd say that they are in a bit of. I'm just curious that they just abandoned orange. Like, orange is my favorite part of UTEP's colors, right? It should be their primary color, Alberto. Alan, aren't there like 50 shades of orange?
Oh, there's a football field, so that they look.
Oh, we just hear Alberto's voice in the background. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate your phone call, man. Thanks for weighing in on the program. Let's talk about the two other points that he made. I want to start off with the best players that left. Sal, when you talk about Tyrese Knight leaving and you talk about Elijah Klein graduating and all that kind of stuff, that's customary, right? That happens every year. That
exactly.
You're going to have those guys graduate. But to hit the NFL the way that they did and to lose the guys in the portals that they did, that's the loss right there.
Yeah, big time. And Hankins is the one that he's referring to. He was part of that 49-10 routing that Texas State had over UTSA. And, hey, we got to give credit to Texas State. That's a team that they hadn't beaten in forever. That's a rivalry game on their end. That's a win that I don't want to say that can turn the program around. I think they kind of did that and established it last year, that culture. But that's a team that keeps that tide turning for them. So credit to Texas State and company. Deion Hankins getting the touchdown to that one. So man, a lot of talk about the Power 5 transfers and whatnot. I don't have the names in front of me, so I'm not going to act like I know what they did specifically. But if it's guys in the trenches, it's definitely guys that you're missing. Because this year it hasn't boded well for the Miners in the first 2 games.
Yeah, that's totally right. I totally agree with that, Sal. I'll go back to Twitter and X, 600 ESPN El Paso on Twitter and X. UTEP Mineto, Joe John Sr. This is coming in from him. No excuses. There was no progress tonight at the Sun Bowl. At least Fitzgerald and Walden, best buddies, shared a moment together on the field after the game. Ooh, man. I don't know what he means about that. I didn't see what happened at the end of the game, so I'm not too sure what he's referring to there. Going back to Alan's phone call, the quarterback question, let's talk about it, guys, because I think people are split on it. I think some will say that Skylar Locklear had a fantastic game, and why are you even questioning why Cade McConnell should have played in this one? Skylar Locklear was 22 of 29 with a 76 completion percentage, 295 through the air, a touchdown. On the ground, he had 15 attempts for 47 yards and a touchdown, so he totaled 2 touchdowns today. Sal, how would you assess his play?
I thought the command that he had out there was solid. You could tell that this offense today was attempting to kind of run through the hands and legs of Skylar Locklear. So I can't be on the side to say, hey, you definitely got to throw in McConnell. Locklear, in my opinion, hasn't given a reason to kind of change it. And this is somebody who's on the Cade McConnell train, right? I definitely want to see him thrive, but didn't give me a reason to kind of disagree with him being out there. He played solid, no turnovers on his part today. It's just the next part of it when it comes to taking care of the ball is you got to do something with it. And I think there were a lot of missed opportunities that he knows about. You got to see the reaction, or at least I did on the streams, and you got to see it in person out at the game. Some of the reactions that he had on some of the misses and, inaccurate throws, stuff that he's for sure going to work on. But, no, I don't think it's a big controversy. And also to that point, on the pregame interview, I don't know if you guys touched on this already or not, but Locklear is the clear starter for UTEP football. There's no back and forth between him and McConnell. He's going to be QB1 for the foreseeable future, barring any unfortunate news.
Yeah, that's what Coach Walden said, right, Sal? I mean, he said that in the pregame show. Just to clean that up, he was saying that he's going to go with Skylar Locklear as his quarterback. And I don't know if, like you mentioned, there's really a thought about necessarily changing that role right there. All right, Alberto, you give me your thoughts of Skylar Locklear.
No, well, I think he played phenomenal. He had all the 200 plus passing yards. But in my opinion, those comments made by Coach before the start of the match really kind of dictate the way this thing's going to go the rest of the way. This is Skylar Locklear's team, and unless he does something violently egregious on the football field, I don't think they're going to give the reins back to Cade McConnell. Unfortunately, the team scores 17 points in the first half, comes out in their next two drives. The UTEP Miners, on their next two drives after the halftime, they put up 22 yards of offense. And then they didn't score any points. So for me, at that point, it was clear at that point that the offense wasn't working and that they should probably change. But then they didn't. They stuck with Skylar and they let him play it out. So to me, it's just kind of it's just not going to happen, unfortunately, anymore for Cade. I don't think, unless, like I said, something really egregious happens with the way that Skylar's playing. It's just the things that Skylar's doing, the elusiveness, the shiftiness, and the making something out of nothing. They don't want to give that up. There was several plays where Skylar was the play collapses almost immediately because of poor offensive lineman play. So the play is broken down and everybody in the press box goes, get rid of it. And he doesn't, and he can make something positive out of those plays. That's what the coaching staff wants, and that's why he stuck it in the game.
Yeah, he's an improviser. He's somebody who can improv, Sal, and I think that's what they like.
Yeah, definitely. And that's going to be the cause for many moments this year, as we got to see blocks being broken apart and rushes get there when it comes to the backfield. He was able to evade some of those parts or make some quick decisions to kind of get it out. However, obviously a lot of work that needs to be done, but like I said earlier, nothing that I saw today would give me reason to kind of steer away from Locklear. So we even got to see some big plays, some big throws in the final drive came through, and he had a triple, what do they call it? A hat trick when it comes to hockey. Rushing, passing,
and caught a touchdown.
And a receiving touchdown.
That's
so
right. Good point.
We can't say this guy wasn't there to win. Unfortunately, Skylar Locklear is not in a position to stop the run of Southern Utah, and that's what happened tonight. It wasn't Locklear's play. It was a lackluster trench play and the great rushing attack by Southern Utah.
Okay, UTEP had 5 big plays in this one. They had a 65-yard pass from Locklear to Cam Thomas. I think that one caught everybody off guard, but that's the pleasant surprise that he brings to the table in Skylar Locklear. He also had a deep pass to Cam Thomas right down the middle, 26-yard pass, a 37-yard pass to Kenny Odom. A nice Kenny Odom signing for the first time this time around. A 44-yard pass to Odom later on. That was in the fourth quarter. And then on that final drive that you're mentioning, Sal, it's a Jaden Smith pass, or a catch, I should say, from Skylar Locklear. So a lot of distribution right there. And if you remember, on that opening drive, Trey Goodman scored on a touchdown that was negated, called back due to holding. So when you talk about just the totality of things, he distributed evenly to all his different receivers. He did a pretty nice job. There were certain points where his drives just stalled, and they didn't really have a lot of success, but you could blame the offensive line, not necessarily blame Skylar. If they would have thrown Cade in, would things have been different?
Probably so, just in terms of play selection, but that's just kind of nitpicking and kind of looking at personnel. Unfortunately,
I think it's unfair to even think either way.
Score-wise,
right?
I don't think it would have been different because quarterback play is not the reason for a loss the way that they did it tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. And as far as the accountability side for Coach Walden, he took a lot of the accountability.
I heard all of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I heard that too. And I think that's it's a breath of fresh air compared to what happened in the past and how fans really hated the fact that there was not a lot of accountability in the previous regime after games, or like we're talking about here, after major losses. But at the same time, I don't know how this, I don't know what this means for the future. And if you just say, oh, it's our fault, it's my fault, those kind of things, I get it. That's all fine. However, what are you going to do to actually put some wins together, which is what fans ultimately care about. More from Twitter and X. This is from Adam at Adam SF News. Honeymoon period for most Miner fans is over. Unfortunate, but I still believe Coach Scotty Walden is the man to turn them around. Rebuilds just take time. Hope El Paso continues to show up. Good stuff there, Adam. I think that I'm still bought in on Coach Walden to be the man to turn things around as well. I do believe that builds take time, but El Paso doesn't have time. The fans don't have time anymore. They've run out of time. And the fans just want answers and results, and they want it now. Antflow at Break Them Ankles 22. Sir, you lost the crowd tonight. UTEP looked unprepared. It's September, and the season might be over already. Ugh, brutal. Brutal stuff as far as what's coming in on Twitter next. Couple late ones here. Zabuma Fool. I understand it's hard. There's a lot of season left. Brand new transfers, brand new coach, brand new system. I believe they can figure it out. What's figure it out to you, though? What's your definition of figure it out? Is figure it out winning 2-3 games but looking promising in the end? Because I think that's figuring it out for me as far as the standard and the bar that I've set for this team. I just don't think if you're telling me figure it out and start to win